Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Hey, architecture firm owners and emerging leaders. Get ready for unparalleled insight into the development of a world-class architecture firm and a worldwide organization driving the digital transformation of the design and construction industry. With Build Smart, the podcast that's changing how our profession operates. We share the incredible stories behind innovation in the building industry with my friend and co-host, Patrick McLeamy, FAIA, former CEO of the international architecture firm, HOK.
You know, Yamasaki's office or firm lasted during his lifetime. And when he passed away, I think that was the end of the Yamasaki office. Helmut did not want that. He wanted a firm that would live out and grow beyond the founders.
In Season 1, discover the untold stories behind HOK's meteoric rise, from 150 employees in St. Louis to a powerhouse with over 1,900 staff members and 27 offices worldwide.
You know, they weren't as polite as the Kojima people. That was just boom. And anytime you have a creditor, whether it's Kojima or the bank, that wants their money, unless you can raise money someplace else, you are out of business.
Bankrupt. And hold on tight for Season 2, where Patrick takes us on a new adventure as chairman of Building Smart International, shaping the future of digital transformation in the design, construction, and operation of built assets.
Ian Howell, Ken Harold, and I, Ken was my technical representative from HOK. The three of us took a tour of Europe of 5 cities in 5 days. Very busy time.
Simply follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Smart now and uncover lessons that will transform you and your architecture firm. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Architect, the podcast where architects learn to build better businesses. My name is Mark R. LePage, and this is episode 13. Happy New Year! This is episode 13, and it's the first episode of the new year, 2014. And no, it's not January 12th. It's Thursday. You know, up to now, all new episodes have launched on the 12th of the month in honor of my 12-12-12 project. And if you don't know what the 12-12-12 project is, you can go check it out at the first episode, my intro episode to the Entrepreneur Architect podcast.
episode 000, the one before episode 1. And that intro episode talks all about my 12-12-12 project, what it is, where it happened, why it happened, and how this podcast came about. So I would go check that out. So no, it's not January 12th. It's Thursday. And if you've been reading my blog at entrearchitect.com, you already know that I've been promising to take the Entrepreneur Architect podcast to a weekly schedule. And so from this point forward, you can expect to receive a new episode every Thursday morning. But you don't have to worry. The newsletter will also still happen. If you're signed up for the newsletter, you could sign up for the newsletter at entrearchitect.com/newsletter. That's the Entrepreneur Architect Report. And in that, every week I write a little bit, sort of a mini blog post, but it only goes out to newsletter subscribers. And it's much more personal, much less tactical. I enjoy writing it, and I think many of the people who receive it also enjoy it. I get a huge response from it. Every week I get many emails about what I write in that newsletter. So I welcome you to sign up, and I encourage you to do so at entrearchitect.com/newsletter. But that newsletter will change the day that it's going to come out. It's going to come out on another day, and I don't remember exactly what day. Actually, while I'm talking, I'm going to look it up and let you know when I expect it to come out. But the newsletter, or the podcast, is definitely going to come out on Thursdays, which has so far been my day for the newsletter to come out. So the newsletter is going to move, so I don't have to record and publish and do the things I need to do with the podcast on the same day that I'm writing and posting the newsletter. The newsletter is going to be on Fridays. It's going to come out probably Friday late afternoon. Up to this point, it's come out at 4:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday morning. So when you wake up Thursday morning, it's sitting in your email box. But I think what I'm going to do is make it sort of a Friday afternoon thing. So when you're all done with work and you're ready to start the weekend, the newsletter will be there to kind of get you inspired for the weekend and kind of remind you about the previous post that went out on Monday, because blog posts go out on Monday, and newsletters now will go out on Friday to remind you about the post and to remind you about the podcast, which now is going to be every Thursday morning. So that's my schedule. I hope you like it. I do. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So from this point forward, you can expect to receive a new podcast episode every Thursday morning if you're subscribed. And I do encourage you to go to iTunes or wherever else you subscribe to your podcasts and get the feed set up so it's there every week and you don't miss any episodes. If you haven't already figured it out, this is going to be a solo episode. I don't have an interview. That's going to be another change for this 2014 list of changes that I'm making to Entrepreneur Architect. I'm going to do more solo episodes. I really enjoyed doing the first episode, the 000 episode, the episode before the official launch, that kind of talked about who I am and why I do what I do with Entrepreneur Architect. I really like doing that solo episode. So, with these solo episodes, I'm going to be talking about business of architecture and success and the progress in the profession, sort of how the profession is going and trends in the profession, design, how to stay motivated, work-life integration. And I'll probably get into some personal things as well, like classic muscle cars and other things that I like. Anything that I want to talk about, I'm going to talk about. And I hope you like what I talk about and stick around and listen every week. I promise you that it will be, the Entrepreneur Architect podcast. So it's going to mostly be about architecture. But, the newsletter has been very, very successful with the way I write that. And so I'm going to mix a little bit about what I do with my family and my personal interests with the profession of architecture and business and success and all the things that that are my passion. And so that's what I'm going to do. Don't worry, though. The interviews are not going away. I'm still going to be interviewing interesting and inspirational people, all scattered throughout the weeks of podcasting. I really enjoy doing those interviews. I learn a tremendous amount from the people that I talk to. I know that you like it as well, so I will continue to do that. I'm trying to keep things interesting here for you and to take the Entrepreneur Architect podcast to the next level. I'm also going to go mostly unscripted, like this podcast right here. I have some notes in front of me on what I'm going to talk about, but generally it's coming right off the top of my head. Most of the early episodes were structured interviews with scripted intros and outros, and I'm working to be more spontaneous, and I'm hoping to get better at working without a script. I'm still shooting to keep the show around the 30 minutes to 45 minutes time limit. I think that works out well, but not having produced any solo shows since the first episode, it's sort of going to be a little bit of a trial and error to get my timing down. So bear with me while I learn, to get things, to get things running properly around here. I want to make this podcast the best it can possibly be. I want it to truly be, a truly professional broadcast quality radio show. Not necessarily on the radio, but I want it to be that quality. I want the sound to be that type of quality, and I want the content to be that quality. And it's going to take a lot of time to get to that point. There's lots for me to learn about what I say and how I say it. And, it's going to take some time. So I hope you be patient with me while I experiment with this project of mine. And I hope you enjoy the journey and follow it with me. So that's the sort of the background on what's going on in 2014, the big changes with Entrepreneur Architect Podcast. This past week, I was in Chicago for New Year's Eve and New Year's. It was a pretty special week. I was invited by the American Institute of Architecture students, specifically the Illinois Institute of Technology chapter, to come to AIAS Forum 2013 and teach a workshop on business fundamentals called 12 Steps to Business Success for Architects. And it was very well received. The students really liked what I had to say. It's much of the same information that I talk about in my blog and what I write about, and the Entrepreneur Architect Academy blog posts that I wrote last January, which you can go and find if you haven't read them. I highly recommend that you do read them. There are 15 posts, 12 subjects, a couple of multi-post posts, more than one part. So there are 15 posts, 12 steps, basically 12 steps to business success. I talk about everything from marketing and sales and personal productivity, everything there is to know about running a successful small business. And that's what I did the workshop on in Chicago. The students really liked it. I got a very good response from them. So that was exciting. I spent New Year's Eve with most of the 1,000 architecture students that were there, and a T-Rex named Sue, which was fun. at the Chicago's Field Museum. We had the New Year's Eve party at the Field Museum in Chicago, right, next to Millennium Park, and it was awesome. They really put on a great show there, and it was an amazing experience. You can check out my Instagram account at Entrepreneur Architect, and I have a bunch of photos there of the week, my whole week, including the snowstorm, which I'm not going to get too deep into right now, but many flight delays and snow and cold temperatures, and it was a crazy week, but it was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed being there. So I'm hoping to catch the AIAS forum again next year. It's going to be in Nashville, which should be awesome. I haven't been to Nashville, and I'd love to be there. So I'm hoping to go back. They did invite me to come back and attend that as well. So I'm hoping to do that. If you read this current blog post at entrepreneurarchitect.com, this week's blog post, you'll sort of learn some of the interesting things that led me up to presenting a special presentation in addition to my workshop, sort of a mini keynote speech on stage in front of all 1,000 plus architecture students at the second day's general session. I'm not going to get into here how and why that happened, but it happened, and I was so excited that it happened. And I think the students really liked what I said, and I want to do more of that. So getting on stage and talking about Entrepreneur Architect and success and the business of architecture, which is everything that I live for at this point, second to my only to my family, is the business of architecture. So I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and being around 1,000 enthusiastic architecture students is pretty inspiring. They're amazingly passionate and optimistic about the profession. It reminds me what it was like to be an architecture student, and the optimism you have, and the willingness to take things to the next level. And they're all ready to accept what you teach them. They all want to be better at what they do. They want to make the world a better place. And my message was to build better businesses, and then you can go out and change the world. And so they really like that. I would suggest going to entrearchitect.com and reading my current post. It's called "What I Do is Bigger Than Who I Am," and I get a little bit philosophical in the post, but it is truly how I feel. So I encourage you to go check that out. Today's subject on the podcast is profit. And it's a topic that I've discussed many times before. It's one of the things I repeat over and over and over again. Profit, then art. That's my mantra, or one of my many mantras, but that's one that I repeat all the time. Profit is not a bad thing. It's critical to the success of any small business, including your architecture firm. Your architecture firm is a small business, and profit is basically the fuel that keeps it moving. And so, we as architects have some pretty major issues with money and making a profit. I think that many architects feel guilty when they make money and strive to make a profit. And I'm not really going to get into how to make a profit with this episode of the Entrepreneur Architect podcast. If you do want to know more about that, you can certainly go to the podcast and just go to the search tool and search "make money" or "profit." You can go specifically to entrearchitect.com/profit plan, and that will take you to session 7 of the Entrepreneur Architect Academy blog series, which I did a year ago. That was actually written by Stephen Burns, the creator of ArchiOffice, which is a project management software tool. It is that if you go to entrearchitect.com/profit plan, it'll take you to part 2 of his 3-part blog post, which is called How to Become the Richest Architect You Know. That was my title for it. I actually changed the title that Stephen had, and I made Stephen's title a subtitle. His title was Financial Management for Small Architecture Firm, which is exactly what his posts are about. But How to Become the Richest Architect You Know was excellent SEO fodder. I get tremendous traffic from those 3 posts every day from architects looking to figure out who is the richest architect. So when they search richest architect, they'll find my post, and then they'll learn about how they can become the richest architect. Pretty tricky, I know, but that's what I did, and it worked. And but Stephen's subject of financial management for small firm architects is exceptional. He gets very detailed about how to make a profit and how to manage your finances as an architect. So I recommend that you go there and go check that out. What I want to talk about here right now on the podcast is I want to talk about the psychology of making profit. I want to talk about the sort of the warped idea that many architects have about success and profit. In my Entrepreneur Architect Manifesto, which I wrote, it's a small ebook that you could get free when you sign up for the newsletter. If you haven't gotten it, you can sign up for the newsletter. If you've already signed up for the newsletter and you didn't receive the Entrepreneur Architect Manifesto, then thank you, because you were one of the first subscribers to the newsletter, because it didn't happen from the very beginning. But let me know and I'll send it to you because it's based on a presentation that I did for AIA convention in Denver last June. And it basically talks about all the things that I believe that the profession needs to do to become a more influential, more powerful, more successful profession. So sign up for the newsletter and you'll get that for free automatically. If you already are a newsletter subscriber and didn't get it, email me at mark@entrearchitect.com and I'll send it to you. And if you don't want to sign up for the newsletter and you want it anyway, just send me an email and I'll send it to you. It's something that I want people to read and I'm proud of. And one of the items in the manifesto is to brace the psychology of success. And basically that I want to change the negative feelings we have towards money and success in general. That making a profit is good. It's not bad. When I provide architectural services to a young family at 5 Cat Studio, my firm, we do residential architecture, and my clients are young families, usually with a couple of kids. They want to do some major addition. They want to renovate their home. When I provide architectural services to one of those young families, I improve their lives forever. I'm making the world a better place with every project that I complete. And when I perform those services, I'm getting paid. And hopefully I get paid enough to make a profit and stay in business so I can provide more services for more families. And each time I improve a family's life, they pay me. And every time I get paid, a family's life is improved. The more money I make, the better the world becomes. And that's how we need to start looking at money. We need to look at money. The more money we make, the better the world becomes. That's how we need to look at it. That's the psychology of success. The more money you make as an architect, the better the world becomes. So, profit, then art. Now, what I mean by that, you may have heard me say that either on, a video hangout. I've done a couple of Google Hangouts, and I've talked about profit then art, and the manifesto it talks about profit then art. That basically means that you need to focus on making a profit before you make your art, and it's not profit over art; it's profit then art. Profit allows us to pursue our passions for architecture. It allows us to truly be artists, as well as employers and moms and dads and productive citizens. You need to make a profit in order to be a successful business. it allows you to create your art. It allows us to have enough money to pay our expenses and our employees and to pay ourselves and to give us. When you have enough, you can actually give money away to the causes that matter most to us. So it's important. And I'm not suggesting that we sacrifice our art for profit or to sell out for the money. I'm just talking about building strong, healthy businesses, a profitable business, and to focus on that first. And then we'll have the freedom to take the risks and be more provocative and to take on more interesting projects and to let the bottom feeder clients work with somebody else. When you are profitable and you have all the money you need to pay all your expenses and to pay your employees and to pay yourself and to give some to charity, then you can take on the jobs that you want to take. And then your portfolio improves. And when your portfolio improves, then you attract more projects like the ones that you want. That happens when you start making enough money to pay your bills and pay your employees and to pay yourself and to give some away. If you're struggling to make money and you're not making a profit because you don't have your business set up properly, then all you're doing is struggling to make money. It's the complete opposite of what you want. You want to create architecture. You want to create art. And the only way to do that is to be profitable. And being profitable, it doesn't mean being profitable also means not selling out for the art. So the opposite. You don't want to sell out for the money, but it also means not selling out for the art. Sometimes you make more money with the projects that you don't take. Sometimes knowing when not to take a project will make you more money than knowing which projects to proceed. So Anne-Marie and I just recently, probably a few months ago, we were interviewed by a potential client with a dream job. It was a brand new house on the Hudson River. It was a couple of homes that were there. The Hudson River, if you don't know the Hudson River well, the area around the Hudson River, just north of New York City. Once you get out of the city and you go north up the Hudson River towards Albany, there's very little residential on the river. Most of it is owned by the state. And when it's not, then it's industrial. And most of it is lined with railroads on both sides. And so to have a property, a residential property, within 50 feet of the Hudson River water, literally, step out the back door and, take 15 steps and you're in the river. That's how close the house was. This client had two properties that were both damaged during Hurricane Sandy. She owned one, and the second one was condemned from the storm. They repaired theirs, and they purchased the house next door. And this was a dream project for a couple of couple of architects, residential architects, to build and design a house on the Hudson River. But through a couple of interviews with the client and a couple of projects that we had already had, our schedule was very full. It just wasn't going to work. We weren't going to be able to put in the time that it would require to take this project to the level that we know that it should. The scenario, the client was also a designer who wanted to do a lot of the design themselves, which also would have taken lots of time and effort and coordination. And there were other things that it just wasn't going to work for us. I knew from meeting with the client, she was a very nice person. The client was a dream, the project was a dream project, but there was just something about it that I knew wasn't going to work for us because of our schedule and because of the situation. I've learned in my 20 plus years in the profession, actually it's 20 years this year, 2014 is my 20th year in the profession. It's 21st year. 1993 I graduated and got a job. It's my 21st year, 2014. I learned a lot in those 20 plus years. And one of the things was to listen to your gut. When you learn which projects to take and which projects don't take, even when they are dream projects on the surface. If something's telling you that this is a project that is going to not work out and is going to cost you money in the long run, then you can't sell out for the art. You can't sell out for the project just because it is the project that you've always been waiting for. If it's not going to work from a business point of view, and it's going to take away from your finances, and it's going to take away from your well-being and your comfort level and your the way you live your life every day, your stress level, then those projects you need to pass on. And that's what we did. We were offered we weren't offered the job, but I think we were about to be offered the job. I did recommend her to a fantastic architect that I thought would do an exceptional job with her and would be able to perform for that job probably better than we could. And so I did do the responsible thing and help another architect and to help the client find somebody who can do a great job with that. But the lesson I'm trying to teach here is that, there will be times where even the dream jobs may be the jobs that you need to let go. And just like not selling out for the money, you can't sell out for the art. So profit, then art. Focus on building a strong, healthy, profitable business, and then pursue your passion with everything you have and go create amazing works of architecture. That's my message for this podcast. And I think that's where I'm going to end it. So profit, then art. So that's it. That's my first episode of 2014. I just have a couple of things that I want to talk about before I let you go. If you're interested in getting deeper into learning about business success in architecture and you want to connect and engage with enthusiastic, like-minded entrepreneur architects, then you're going to love Entrepreneur Architect Academy. Entrepreneur Architect Academy is a multi-session online education program designed and built for sole proprietors, small firm architects, and architecture students. We're going to get deep into how to launch and run a successful architecture firm, how to integrate your firm with your family, and how to profitably pursue your passion for architecture. I'm putting it together right now. I'm having a blast creating it, and I know that you're going to love the results. An Entrepreneur Architect Academy is coming very soon. So if you're interested, stop what you're doing right now and go sign up for the pre-launch list at entrearchitect.com/courses. entrearchitect.com/courses. Space is limited, and that list is going to receive first notice when the Academy is launched, and they're also going to be offered early bird pre-launch pricing. So go sign up right now, entrearchitect.com/courses. Don't miss out. This is going to be a program that just may change your life. So that's it. Episode 13. If you like what you hear here, get it? And you want to spread the word, please go to entrearchitect.com/iTunes, or just go to iTunes and search Entrepreneur Architect and leave me a written review. When you review the podcast or you leave a star rating on iTunes, it boosts my place on iTunes and it helps other Entre architects find the show. So go to entrearchitect.com/iTunes and leave me a review right now. So that's it. Until next week, my name is Mark R. LePage, and I am an entrepreneur architect. Thank you very much for listening.
Imagine earning continuing education credits while doing exactly what you're doing right now. Well, you can. Gable Media has revolutionized the way you earn your continuing education credits with a groundbreaking approach. Forget running around town and scouring the internet for credit-worthy courses. Fulfill your CE requirements effortlessly by listening to engaging podcasts just like the one you're listening to now. Our podcasts are designed to educate, entertain, and inspire, all in a user-friendly environment. But wait, there's more. Architects, Gable Media is also approved as an AIA continuing education services provider. Upon completion, we handle everything, from reporting your hours directly to the AIA to storing your certificates in your personal Gable Media profile for your self-reporting needs. So follow the link in the show notes and start earning your credits in the most innovative and entertaining way possible with Gable Media.
Attention architects and creative minds, get ready to supercharge your brand with Build Your Brand, the podcast that's unlocking the secrets of branding success for creatives. Hey there, it's Mark Arlepage, founder of Entrepreneur Architect, and I'm inviting you to join my friend, architect marketing expert Jeff Eccles at Build Your Brand podcast, where he explores the captivating stories of the world's top brands and transforms their lessons into powerful moves for small firm architects and creatives like you. In Season 1, Jeff shares the thrilling tale of Southwest Airlines, where he dissects their journey to the summit and distills it into strategies tailor-made for you.
It's important to keep in mind that companies like Southwest compete in the real world, just like you, and face real-world challenges, just like you. You might be surprised at how similar those challenges are to the struggles that you grapple with on a day-to-day basis.
Don't miss out on your blueprint for success. Subscribe, tune in, and let's build your brand together.
You may have noticed that the very best brands in the world are also known for having somewhat unique corporate cultures. That's often the glue that holds everything together when they encounter those rough spots.
We don't do it because it inconveniences the passengers to whom we are primarily dedicated, the short haul, frequent flyer.
Follow the link in the show notes to subscribe to Build Your Brand today. Remember, no matter the size, the journey's the same. Your brand's journey to the top starts here.